Go. Come on, mouse. And 5, 4, 3.
Welcome, everyone, and pull up a seat at the table. It is lunchtime in Rome. Tonight's episode 283 is titled Triggers. What causes us to lose it? The current word is triggers, but what is it that sets us off and why does it? We'll be talking about that at the table this evening. So pull up a seat and join us. First-time listeners, you can subscribe on your favorite podcast app or watch us live or later on YouTube at Lunchtime in Rome. Visit us at lunchtimeinrome.com, and while there, you can take our relational needs questionnaire. Make sure to follow us on all social media, and it'd be great if you gave us a 5-star review. Jay, what is this podcast about?
At the table, we strive to love one another and help you to do the same. Some weeks, we will have someone join us so that you can get to know them and learn a little bit about yourself in the process. Other weeks like this one, we dive into a topic. Romans 12:15 says to rejoice with those who rejoice and mourn with those who mourn. That's what we do. So while it may not be 12:15 in Rome, we're treating it like it is
Lunchtime in Rome.
That's an extended clap from the studio audience here.
Well, we nailed the welcome.
It was pretty impressive.
We did.
well.
Chris isn't with us, but Joe
He's still
is.
alive.
Yes.
He's
Literally, he's not with us at the table.
in the moment.
In the moment. But
In spirit, he is.
no, I can't imagine that.
I don't
either.
think so either.
Not
yeah.
at all. Not at all. So,
Well,
But
I'm
Joe's
here
here
anyway.
Yay,
So
Joe. Are you officially the most?
this
Yes.
has to set me over the edge.
It's got to be.
It was a debate between me and Amy Raymond, and I think
Amy Raymond and you.
me.
I.
Them.
Okay.
Who's?
What's going on?
Whom?
You okay?
Yeah.
What is happening?
What did we?
right
What are we?
now? That's my new phrase.
What are we doing?
It's from a Nate Bargatze joke when he does iced coffee with cream. And he
that's a
gets
great
confused with the barista and finally, or barista. And he says, I just said to her, what's happening right now? And I've had so many social interactions recently where I want to say to the person, what's happening right now?
I think it's a great.
it's so
kind of
good.
a power move.
It's a little reset.
It brings everything back. Yeah.
So we were, I'll start.
Did you say barisma?
No, barista.
Oh,
I thought you said Barilla.
We were at a wedding a couple weeks ago for Joey, Kathy's son, at a lovely resort in the Poconos. And it was a wonderful time. I explained it. I say I was filled with perspective and very much in the moment. And it, like if something was bad or not perfect, I'm like, oh, how about that? And just kind of move over here and like getting my picture taken with my siblings, all 5 of us. And, in the kind of the back of your head, you go, don't know how many more of these we're going to do, and it was just great. And watching 54, start doing these, 54 and the youngest.
yeah.
You look around and So, but watching like Joe dance with are they your second cousins?
No.
Nobody knows.
They are my first cousin once removed.
I don't think so.
I'll call them
That's
my
not a
cousin.
thing. But like Wyatt Carter
Wyatt Carter.
and Penelope, she goes by Autumn,
Her mother gave her the name Autumn.
but it's Penelope. And then
Makes sense.
And then
close.
Kaysen, the youngest,
Sure.
isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. And
Yes.
Joe's just like dancing with them all night long, and they're 5, 3, and 1 or whatever.
6, 4, and
Nobody
2.
knows. Point of the story is here's the second celebration. I'm just gonna throw this out there. There's Julia, who sees Joe dancing with his whatever they are to him, and so she just goes over and dancing with Bella, and everybody's having a good time. And I thought, in previous relationships, Joe's girlfriend would be jealous and upset with him for spending so much time with the little kids. And so it was a celebration of Julia. We got to celebrate her graduation. We had a nice dinner, got to meet the parents. It was delightful. We had a great moment when the server comes and brings the food, and it ain't right. And I go, he's got the wrong table. And I think it was Rachel or somebody was like, no. And then they put this chicken dish in front of Joe, who ordered a Kona-crusted ribeye. And so not the server and not like the main number 2 water guy, but the third
He was a
guy,
food runner.
food runner. He looks at Joe and he says, and what was your order? And Joe says, I got a Kona-crusted ribeye. Well, there's a piece of white meat in front of him. And the guy, he just looks at him and
He goes like this. He reaches, like he's across this big circle table. He reaches all the way across and just goes, of course.
and takes the dish away.
And so I start dying because there's no way you know that I ordered the steak.
It was just so good. He was like, of course. And takes it away. But at the wedding, I got into a conversation with a lady who was talking to Kathy, and I thought she looked like Richie Reeder's wife from Pressing On. And so I said, hey, are you from Pressing On? Or do you know the Reeder family at all? And she's like, no. And I'm like, yeah, it was a long shot. I just got a friend back in Pittsburgh. Well, I'm from Pittsburgh. And I went, oh. She's like, yeah, I live in Butler. And she said, and Saxon. And I went, oh, well, I know the guy that developed and runs Saxonburg Golf Course. She's like, I don't know where that is. I said, you said Saxon. I said Saxton. And I went, what's going on right now? Why are you so angry with me?
Right.
And then Kathy turned and said something to her, and I was like, whoop, turned, gone.
Exit.
But, a lot of good things. Just handed out the Trey Mitlow Memorial Scholarship. We had a lot of applications, and I'm very thrilled with the girl that won. And busy times, but I think I'm really excited about tonight. With all due respect, with Chris being gone, we got no vinyl talk tonight. So I'm pretty excited about that.
I mean, we could
unless
tell
Eric
those
starts to talk about it.
Well, it'll be shorter.
It will be. That's true. I do like vinyl though.
Me too.
I think that
I can jump on the train.
Ethan's got a machine down in the basement.
A machine?
Yeah.
The machine.
A turntable.
The machine.
The machine.
Oh, we need that story.
So we've been hit with some weather in our area.
I didn't even mention.
Did we? Yeah. So for those of you who are not from the area, Pittsburgh area, we got hit with a storm like I've never seen before.
It's pretty big.
It was
They were clocking 70, 80 mile an hour winds, and our neighborhood got hit real hard. It's a absolute miracle that we did not lose power, and it was crazy.
Some people to this minute do not have power.
Yeah.
Cindy and Jeff Jackson.
Really?
yeah.
Oh man.
Steph Strauss.
Wow.
Now, she lives at the bottom of Hunter Road, and then you kind of
Yeah.
go up, so I don't think they know there's houses there.
Right.
Yeah. Well, Maggie's school literally just got power back like about an hour ago. So she's going to school tomorrow, everybody. Woo! Thank goodness. I just want a normal schedule.
Right. You love your daughter.
I do. I just want normal schedule and
Yes.
not have to, do all this running around. And but
Running around by not taking her to school. Yeah, that's a...
and so so the storm came through very quickly. Like it was about 2 minutes. It was like hitting us
They
really
never
hard.
use the term wind shear, which they have used in the past, which is like a vertical tornado, or and I don't know why they didn't do it.
Wait.
A linear tornado, and they didn't. They used some other term,
Yeah.
but I don't know why it wasn't a wind shear because it was wide. It wasn't
Yeah.
here. It was a
It
straight
was
line.
all moving, yeah, just all through the Pittsburgh area, and so it went through very quickly. Then it rained for a little bit, and then it was gone. And so we had, speaking of vinyl, we had just come downstairs. Let me say this: it's the first time I've ever taken shelter.
Give me shelter.
Like I've never felt.
You've sheltered in place.
I've never been scared to
2 weeks.
My gosh, I've never been. Can we just get to the story? Oh my gosh. We've never been so nervous to like actually take shelter in the basement. And Amy said, we should go to the basement. I said, yeah, I think that's a good idea. Not that I feel like we would have gotten, hit that hard, but like I was like, I've never seen a storm like this before. And So we did. We came down here. We were listening to some vinyl. Power never went out. It was a little memory. Amy and Maggie were playing with her Paw Patrol toys, all that. And so storm passes, and we decide, like, hey, let's take a walk around the neighborhood. And, man, there are trees down everywhere. And we're just walking around and just observing a tree down here, tree down there. And then out of nowhere, Maggie says, I hope Big Guy's okay. And when Amy and I were like, well, that's really sweet of you, baby girl.
Not
like,
grandma. Not grandpa.
No.
Big Guy just popped into her head, and
Is that not the sweetest thing?
It's the sweetest thing. So we messaged Big Guy, and he let us know that he was okay. But it was just so funny.
What is that thought train like?
I know, but it was very sweet, and I love it. But yeah, our neighborhood was crazy. Like there's people that just got power back, like yesterday and today in our neighborhood from things being down.
So even
it's
within
crazy.
your neighborhood, people didn't have power, and you did.
Yeah, well, because it was 2 doors down from us. There's a tree that fell on the power lines that come from the street to the woman's
I get it.
house, But then up on Horizon View, there's a tree that took out a whole telephone pole up there, but we still had power. So like it was, I was just a miracle, and I'm just dumbfounded and very thankful and fortunate.
According to the AccuWeather.com, the storm stretched about 450 miles in length and 100 miles in width. If the wind shear is just right, instead of that outflow rushing way out ahead of the storm, preventing the storm from being any stronger, the outflow hugs the storm, and you get this balance where new storms form along the edge of the outflow. So
You want to talk about vinyl?
No, I want to talk about weather. Lunchtime and weather.com.
Lunchtime and weather. I'll go. I've been good. I finished up finals last week.
Congratulations.
With my power out. I did lose power.
Yeah.
I was like the only street in Oakland that lost power. Like it was the main street going into Oakland. But, I have my backup generator. Not backup generator, but like I have a giant battery. So I can charge my phone or laptop or something. So it wasn't that bad for me. But been running around doing, I like to call them side quests, just random things.
Yeah.
Downloaded MacBid. Mm-hmm. And I won one thing.
All right.
Final player.
Final
It is
player?
a vinyl
Oh, vinyl player. Okay.
Some people
I
have
thought you said
records.
vinyl
record player.
I was like, what?
It's like a Bluetooth radio, and it has like a vinyl on
So
top.
it's a modern vinyl player.
I don't know.
Well, if it has Bluetooth,
Well,
Yeah, they do make Bluetooth record players.
wow. Here we are.
Yeah.
yeah, no real big updates from me. Nothing.
Things are good with Julia.
Things are amazing with Julia.
Oh, that's nice.
Both going to start up doing Young Life Leader stuff with Christina and Julian.
That's awesome.
Cool.
Got to figure that out.
He's going to go to the food pantry a couple days, hang out with his old man, do some contact work.
I did. I've gone to the Penn Hills Food Pantry. I stand outside and some people say hi, some people don't. I say hi to the people that say hi.
Don't say hi to the people that don't say hi.
Sometimes I do.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Mix it up a little bit.
How has it been being that you were there for, again, these are for athletes. After school, before practice, they come in, get some food, get some nutrition. But does it feel like, yeah, this is what I graduated from, or is
It is a weird feeling that I look at it and I'm like, boy, this was me 4 years ago.
Yeah,
Like
not
I'm
long.
not, I don't see it as different. I just see it as not nostalgic, but I remember the feeling of what they're not going through, but what they're experiencing right now is
Yeah.
oh, they've got practice later and then they're going to go do homework. And I'm just like, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Do you look for you when you're there?
I did once. I didn't find myself.
No, but I mean, which kid is most like me in this process?
Right.
I mean, you're one of one. We get that.
Obviously.
Right. Tyreek.
That's me. He's me.
Not at all. Tyreek is an outrageously stylish young man who runs track, doesn't talk. I mean, did he have like grills? I mean, like his teeth are
Not last week he did.
yeah. But I mean, crazy hair, crazy whatever else. And every day I'm like, most stylish man at Penn Hills, and he just smiles. Like he doesn't say anything. I don't know if he's like, I want to kill this guy, or I wish he would stop talking to me. But anyhow, I could tell a million stories, but we won't.
That's me. Nothing real big.
Good. We like that.
And our friend Ben, or Mr. Davidson, as he's called now,
Mr. Davidson.
is also
Davidson.
is also probably having some of those somewhat surreal maybe moments where he's had some distance from school, and now he's back teaching.
Benny just got a job at Linton Middle School.
Professional teacher.
Mr. Davidson.
He is teaching the next generation.
He is.
He is.
And he's in like an adaptive learning class, isn't it, or something like that?
So he explained it to me as he on the first day he walked in and was like, "Okay, what class am I teaching?" Which already to me is wild that he didn't know.
Right.
And they were like, "Well,
Heads up.
They go, "Well, it's a creative writing class,
Math major, mind you.
but we want it to shift to like a creative math class."
Oh, he's the guy for that.
Creative math is
Sure.
not something
Right.
they have ever taught
That's
ever.
not precise. There's some art to that. I mean, there's some leeway.
And Ben goes, "Well, okay, just trying to, is it an elective or were they forced to take this class?" And they went, "Yes." And so Ben is stuck for 19 days and he said he's going to teach logic puzzles. So like,
I hear those kids love them.
especially at the end, especially at the end of the year. Especially at the end of the year.
Yeah. When they have apparently been watching a lot of videos and movies in class. is what
I didn't
was
know
told
that.
that. Yeah. Which means he had a burned out teacher who was like, ba-boom,
Yep.
video, ba-boom, video.
Here you go, kid.
And then here comes Ben.
comes Ben.
We're going to learn math, everyone.
Who could still be mistaken for a student himself.
I didn't want to like besmirch him.
No, I'm not trying to be. It's like
Did a teacher today ask what class you were supposed to be in?
No, because he's dressed nicely. But by size, yes.
I had a
Brian.
sneaky busy weekend, in one of those good ways, but like you don't like things just keep. So I actually didn't even play hockey on Friday night.
Whoa.
I knew there was something wrong.
Something was amiss.
Something in the atmosphere was a little
Something was
different this
amiss,
past
yeah.
Friday.
But then Saturday, I helped Christina and Julian. Speaking of Christina and Julian, I helped them move from the Sash side.
Are you going to give her keys back?
No, never.
He put
she's
all
al-
of her different cards in different
Yeah,
places.
she's
throughout the house.
already reordered everything anyway. Has got a new
That
license.
is tragic. We mourn with that, and
Yeah.
and she fought hard.
Yeah, what
yes,
a pain
lost
in the
everything.
butt.
Yeah, but no, I'm not going to give her that stuff back. But anyways,
Why would you?
help them move, and then Sunday was 2 services, and then we did the lunch afterwards, and then it was just like I found myself at like 6 o'clock. Like, okay, this is the first time I'm sitting down, which isn't bad. I mean, I like having those
It's a
weekends.
life well
and-
lived.
Yeah, and it was fulfilling. You know, good things happened, and with that storm, I can see out of my front window. I can see the city, like the top of the UPMC building,
Like from your kitchen.
The kitchen.
Yeah,
but
kitchen's
I
got a
can
good
see
shot.
it better from the living room.
Oh, okay, sure.
And
Oh,
so
really?
and then there's the valley.
Does the weather come that way?
Yeah.
It comes right that way. So I was just kind of like glued to the window. Like,
Yeah.
this is really dangerous. I shouldn't be here.
Right.
But I can't look away.
Sure.
I had the same feeling because
Yeah.
I was like, we were down here, and so then I went out to like the back door, and I was like, I gotta see it. I have to see this thing. It's the craziest storm I've ever seen. So I stood behind our door, looking out the little window at the top. I was like, I'm safe behind this door.
I got the alert in Oakland of like, I looked earlier that morning and it was like sunny. And
Yeah.
I was like, okay. I got an alert on my phone, 80-mile-per-hour winds
Yeah.
with severe thunderstorms, take shelter. And I'm like,
Yeah,
okay.
right,
Yeah,
whatever,
okay. I looked
yeah.
earlier. And I didn't have the lights on in the living room. And I just saw it get like nighttime dark. And I went, like,
Yeah.
and then big storm.
Yeah. Well, so I'm watching it, and the whole time I'm like, this isn't smart. Like, this is substantial. I haven't seen anything like this. And Lex and Abby and Ethan, they're all like, Dad, I think you should come downstairs. And so there's like all this confusion. They're trying to get downstairs, but then we have our cats, who Abby's like she's like, I need to get the cats. So she starts running through the house to try to corral the cats down there. She pulls out the kitty treats. And now the storm's hit. There's one cat down there. It's trying to get up. I can hear it meowing. Ethan and Lex and Chalupa are down there as well. Abby's running around trying to corral this cat.
In the basement
already.
Yeah, okay.
So I'm like, Abby, get down to the basement, please. And she, God bless her, she goes to set the cat treats down on one of the tables next to the stairs. And all the cat treats just fall. And
that's great.
The storm hits. There's just pandemonium raining. I'm like, Abby, go downstairs. Like, I'm pissed. And
the cats are like, sweet treats.
well,
It should rain more often.
so I find myself having the storm come past me as I'm cleaning cat treats. I'm like, I could be dead because I'm cleaning cat treats out. And it was just one of those funny moments where, like, wow, we really don't prepare things very well. And one last story about that. I have a generator. Thank goodness I bought it during COVID.
We might get one.
I didn't think I would ever need it. Like, I was like, I'm going to get it. Yeah, right. I'm going to ever use this. I've used it twice since December.
Yeah.
And oh man, I was with Dr. Brent today, my chiropractor, and he has a generator similar to mine,
Yeah.
but he got an electrician to plug it in to his utility box, his electrical box. He's like, I'm like, I got to do that. I was like, how much was it? He was like, it's about $500 to the electrician.
Actually,
Dude,
that's
$500
not
is
bad.
really cheap.
That's
didn't
actually
seem
not
that bad.
bad.
That's real cheap.
Yeah.
It's not that bad.
So, anyways, that's my.
How long did it last?
As long as
his
you got
generator?
gas.
Well, right.
Well, he said I put gas in it a couple times every.
That's what I mean. Like, how much gas did you use?
So I have propane. Mine does propane and gas. I went with the propane option
Because you've got a propane tank.
Well, I mean, I use the little ones, and that's the other thing though. If I go the actual like professional route and have it tied into my, because Brent was like, I could run my furnace. I ran everything in my house. Everything. It's like I never lost any power.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he's like, I just got to flip a switch in my electrical box and plug this thing in, and I'm good to go. What was the question?
I don't know.
Like, how much gas did you use?
I think I don't know if it was because of the load or just because it's very efficient. I mean, because I had like a couple extension cords. I had my
Fridge.
refrigerator and my freezer down in the garage
Yeah.
going, a couple lights. So I don't know if it's like load based, like if it would use more.
I'm sure it
But I
would.
use very little propane,
Really?
very little. And so, I mean, yeah, I think I might be raising
I might
my
be.
generator game.
I might be checking that out.
So
in
maybe,
the next year or so.
maybe
Yeah.
we all go in and we find an electrician to give us a group discount.
Could be.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
I like it.
How much would you charge for one? How much would you charge for three?
And his price, I hope it's not triggering. But before that,
Not bad.
We do want to say hi to Big Guy.
Big
Big
guy.
I think he's on the road. I'm not sure, but
Well, he's on his
watching.
iPad now.
Yes, he was on his phone. Now he's on his iPad.
And what does Groot have to say?
He was saying that. Just want to let you know he had to cancel his subscription. He's kind of between jobs right now, but he's going to subscribe when it comes back. So
Hey,
subscribe to what? This podcast?
Yes.
How do you do that?
well, not only do you subscribe to the podcast, you become a paid subscriber and you get to sit at the head of the table. Along with Groot, you're good for another couple weeks, buddy. Lorianne, Bethany, Jaworski, Mary Lynn, Ashley, and Breaking 90, who did reach out to us and let us know. He's been with us every week, but he was taking a break from social media during Lent. Good man he
Not
is.
a bad thing to do.
Nah, it's probably one of the more beneficial things you could do.
Maybe it was a little more triggering
Yes.
for him.
So go to lunchtimeinrome.com and click on being a paid subscriber. It helps the podcast go. It helps us pay for things and keeps us afloat, if you will. Because if we weren't afloat, well, let me tell you, it would be bothersome.
It would be bothersome.
Some might call it.
a segue.
So, Mary Lynn just said hi to you. Mary Lynn is in the house as well. So we have Groot. We've got
might-
Big Guy.
You
we
might
have
say we
Mary
could
Lynn.
lose it.
And for, with all due respect, this is a brilliant idea for the podcast tonight. And it did come from Mary Lynn, who does sit at the table quite often, not as much as Joe. That has been
Come
pointed
on.
out.
Come on.
It's well established.
But if you think about, like, I say the word anxiety, that I don't know the first time I heard it, but it wasn't in my childhood.
Right.
And I think it's somewhere around maybe even 9/11, like 2000. People started talking about
Did that trigger you?
anxiety. No. But trigger is another word. Like, can you think of the first time you heard the word, oh, I was triggered?
Specific time? Yeah.
2014, 15,
Oh.
16.
Okay.
I feel like it was a little bit later for me, like 2018, 19.
Yes.
Oh no, yeah, I'm with Joe. It was earlier than that.
But that also, just like, well, I think it's different than anxiety or being anxious, because triggers, as they are defined, have existed for a long time. Just we didn't popularize them
Right.
and or
Sure.
use them
I feel
to a
like
degree.
they
Please
were like
do.
localized within like a PTSD type thing.
Highly specific to
Like it was like a specific thing triggered a specific memory.
well, like my very first official job was a busboy, and the head busboy was a Vietnam War vet. And anytime somebody dropped plates or pots or pans, and I remember they may even have said that it triggered him because, of course, I was an idiot 16-year-old who thought it was hilarious that he would flip out whenever there was loud noises and stuff like that. Oh, maybe I've learned since then about trauma. But so there's an example of it, and that's, like you said, highly specific to people.
It's
in
highly
trauma.
specific to highly specific.
Correct.
Is that how we're
Whereas-
defining it?
No.
No.
Okay.
We're going over the history of the word per se.
Got it.
Getting to the point of, boy, it's nomenclature now. It is common.
Yeah.
That, triggered. I was triggered. And very often we hear, hey, I was triggered as an excuse for a reaction.
I was triggered as an excuse for a reaction.
So, like, this person went nuts and started punching everybody in the hallway, and the kid's like, well, my teacher was mad at me and I was triggered.
Got
Like,
it.
to make it a justification.
Right.
Being triggered is a justification. And so Mary Lynn, and again, to further proof that this isn't anything new, Mary Lynn was teaching this when I was on staff at Presley Ridge in 94. Well, it's somewhere in there. This what we're going to talk about tonight, which is what's really behind, quote unquote, being triggered. And so to break that down, the first thing is to have a trigger is something external has to have happened to you, which causes you to respond to it.
The guy dropping the plates being dropped, or somebody saying something to you.
Correct. And Mary Lynn, who is with us at the table, please correct me as we go forward. But and that can be anything. And if you think about it, there's almost an endless supply of external factors which can be considered or could be perceived as a trigger. So it can be. Go ahead, Eric.
I have a question
Yes. And we're sort of walking through this together tonight.
because we've talked about before where our hurts go.
Correct.
So
that plays into it.
if you get triggered, it alludes to anger. Like but your hurts can go to fear, anger, self-condemnation, or guilt.
Correct. That's where hurts go, which
Right.
are unmet needs or
So-
needs taken from us.
But if you're hurt or triggered, it seems like it would all go to anger.
Oh, I would.
You see what I mean?
Yes. So
Okay.
you're posing a query,
Yeah.
which is, are all triggers anger based?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that's the case. I think when people can be triggered and be very fearful, like they can collapse into self-doubt and self-condemnation. So
Okay.
I think it definitely covers the gamut of
Okay.
all four.
I guess
sure.
because like my
or fear.
mindset is like the modern day. I'm triggered. I'm so angry. You know,
Correct.
kind
Right.
of thing.
Right.
I would say, and fear as well.
Yeah.
That, hey, we're all, imagine this. So we've got a sort of introvert friend. We'll call her Polly. And not Paul Mercier, but just Polly. And she never wants to go out as a group. She's just very, she doesn't like crowds. She doesn't like groups, whatever else. And then, somebody goes, oh my gosh, is Polly actually going? And Polly's like, oh, that's it. I'm not going
Right.
because there's too much attention.
Yeah.
She's not angry.
Right.
It's fear.
Yeah.
I'm being paid attention to.
Gotcha.
So
Good question, though. I like how we've established that.
yeah, that's what we're doing. That's beautiful. So the thing is that is very important to note is we have no control over it. We have no control over this external stimuli.
Interesting.
It
We have
happens
no control
to us.
over the stimuli.
The
yes,
external
correct.
stimuli.
Yep.
The person, and so
We live in a world with things that do things.
So here's a question that as Mary Lynn and I and Rachel were talking about it, we were going over like Rachel's and Mary Lynn's, what are some of your external stimuli that quote unquote sets you off and or is a trigger? Personally, we know Brian's.
Like what?
Brian's like, could you give me a category?
Shopping. Well, no,
Not returning your
shopping
shopping
carts
cart.
and litter.
shopping carts and litter
Yeah.
and stuff on the road. People driving,
Yeah.
Telling you what to say.
telling me what to say.
He took a pause. He was like, "Oh yeah."
let me lick my lips for a second. So yeah, those are
I mean,
think we've
yeah.
established
I mean, I guess because my mindset, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong. Like if movie theater, if somebody's like kicking the back of my seat, like I'm at a 10.
Sure.
Yeah. Like I it takes everything in me to like not like turn
That's
around.
a perfect example.
Okay. All right. Because that is the worst, and getting hit in the head or like
I forgot about that.
yeah, it's like I can't stand
I think
it.
the three of us love that so much. All three of us.
Yeah, we share that.
Yeah, we love
Getting
being
hit in the head.
Oh,
Punch me
so
in the
good.
chest as hard as you want, and I'll be like, "What was
Yeah,
that for?"
stop.
Yeah.
You
Right.
flick me in the head.
We're
Go time.
Go time. Yeah.
I think it's a dad thing.
Oh, you'll get there.
You'll find out.
Can I ask something though? To Eric's point, can you have a trigger that brings out like empathy? Like, and I'll give you a for instance. Like
Like a positive spin on things.
well, I see an animal hurt on the side of the road. Oh man, like I get triggered by that, and
Yeah.
it's not a fear, it's not a guilt, it's not anger. It's
feel
just
bad.
Like wow, I am so sad that we live in a civilization in a world where things have to get hurt. Like that's a big one for me.
Yeah.
So it goes to none of that negative.
So I think what we're talking is there are many kinds of external stimuli.
Yeah.
Some lead to quote unquote triggers.
Right.
In your case, that is a call to action. That is a call to response. It's not what a classic definition of a trigger. Now,
I hate
spinning
to
it
see
positively.
pain and suffering. Like
Yeah.
so, like specifically pain and suffering.
But it's
with-
like a
within- there's
I mean,
there's
some-
some you're pretty dead up to.
but also but also with humans,
That's
like
too
they're
it depends on the human, and it depends on their situation.
We were having a good moment.
I
Here,
can't
guys.
lie about any of that. However, I do sometimes feel the same for people.
Well, and the same thing is again, there's just many different kinds of external stimuli. We're talking about ones that cause a negative reaction, which would be fear,
Yeah,
anger,
right.
guilt, self-condemnation.
Yeah.
I can provide a different one that's not necessarily anger.
Please do.
So, like, not as much anymore, but like when I was younger, like when things would change, like when plans would change or another variable was added to
I'm with
something,
you, buddy.
that would send me into like an anxiety trigger.
Yeah.
Of
For
like
how long? Like how up
Yeah.
until what age would you say?
Today.
45 minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, because he's had a lot of exposure therapy. today.
Yeah.
Not
yeah.
exposure therapy, just exposure.
Yeah.
High school, like end of,
Yeah.
like it got better towards like senior year ish, but it would just be something so minuscule would happen. And it can be any, like it could have been, I'm trying to think of an example now. Like, oh, we're changing the date from your SAT from March to August.
Sure.
Like, well, now I have to restudy
So
and I have to
would
spend
fill
all
you
this
with
time.
anxiety and fear.
And at moments too, because I could like, this I still do now is like, it's when you're laying in bed and you just go so far down the rabbit hole that you're like, I'm never going to be okay and everything's going to suck and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, so that's where that would be,
Yeah.
But I
used
would
to be for me, is
Yeah.
like,
I would contend that's still the same kind of trigger.
I think
you
it's
said
the
it's
same.
a different kind. And
Well,
I'm saying
because
that's
it's
the same
not
kind.
necessarily anger. It's
We're
more,
not saying it's anger. It would go to
oh,
fear.
I was offering a different
Yes.
end result.
Got it.
Can I further clarify
Please do.
triggers? Because it just making sense to me. So what? Sorry.
Higher
okay.
would be the point.
Even closer.
Welcome to Lunchtime in Room.
The microphone's now behind
Oh,
you.
man.
That what it started to be like the PTSD thing, I think, is like a very specific thing, like a plate shattering for your Vietnam guy, directly like almost like a pipeline related to like a grenade or something.
Right.
Right.
And what it is way too commonly used now is like anything generally in the realm of like botherance or something,
Yeah.
completely sends a person to 100.
Right.
What I think we're talking about is like a funnel almost, where it's like, oh, someone hits you in the head, or like a bunch of like categorized things happen and then funnels into one emotion that
No, I don't think that's what we're saying. It's not my intention. I'm saying anything, it can be a big deal or a small deal, that can funnel any number of different negative reactions.
Right.
Is what I'm saying. It's the process of being triggered and what to do with it and what actually is happening in our bodies.
okay.
You're like, say it.
What are we doing right
no,
now?
I thought you were going to go with, of course. Of course. So let me go on for a second with that. And what it does is it causes us to react. That was where I was kind of going to, that it's going to cause us to do something, whether we want it to or not.
The external stimuli is going to induce something internal.
An internal response.
Right.
Now, the
A
catch.
smell could do it.
Oh, sure. Oh, we didn't finish our triggers. We got being told to do
Cars,
traffic,
right.
dying animals.
Traffic.
Pretty much all of life. No, I'm just kidding.
Traffic.
Changing lanes in a tunnel.
When others do it. Mm-hmm. Isn't that? No, wait,
hate
that's
it.
great.
Is that what could
Illegal?
That,
Yes.
Well, yeah. Could that be also
Julia.
like people breaking the rules?
That is
Put her on blast.
Whoa.
I think it's fear and anger.
I've told her before it's okay.
Knowing it's
but-
wrong, she'll still do it?
Yes.
Who is this woman?
I am so glad Rachel
That's-
does not sit at the table with us every week.
That's Carol.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the Carol side. Yeah.
Yeah, that's Carol doing it. Julia doesn't know she does it.
It might even be Claire.
Ooh, maybe. Maybe.
But yeah, I think that would go to fear and anger. I mean, because
I'm not worried about where they go.
being-
I'm just saying,
yeah.
we're just talking about triggers and stuff like that. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, but it's good for you to take it a step further. Here's what you should say. I had a couple more, and I've lost them. But getting hit in the head,
Even just thinking about it.
yeah. And what I used,
When somebody incorrects you, or when somebody takes the joke that you clearly said, and somebody
that was historically. That was a Kathy move.
historically,
Yeah.
That was a big one. When I would tell a joke, nobody listens. Kathy, my sister, would hear it.
But
and
you
then
would get
tell it,
triggered
and
in
everybody-
that.
Oh, back then, yeah.
Yeah, back then you would
now
get
I just sort of
triggered.
smile. I'm like, no, they took my joke.
Yeah.
No, it's a good joke. See them laughing.
What about like when you're playing disc golf and like you miss,
Slow play. Sorry. Slow play. Oh, gosh.
Yeah, there's that.
Slow
Shopping,
play.
walking into people.
Oh, delightful. I love that.
But I mean, you speed shop, like
It's a thing of beauty
it's
though.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like, and you could be
You,
in a
you
complete
do not take your time.
no, and like
because
it's
he
not
knows
just-
what he wants.
It's not just familiarity with the store either. Like we've been on vacation and stuff, and we've gone into
Banging
stores.
right out,
You're
baby.
like, I'm like,
Faster
I
than
didn't
I
even
can-
know how to walk in the front door yet, and you're already out.
But I agree with that. And again, that's a fast thing. But if there's a line, I'm cool. Like,
Are you?
oh yeah, I'll tell other people in line, look, we're all gonna get there eventually. It's fine. And
But on the disc golf course, the
it's
slow
never
play.
going to be done. It's too slow, and I can't stand it.
Yeah.
And poor Benny Boo. Benny Boo will just like not. You've hit 6 trees, and you're not even within 50 feet, and you didn't even know that you should be looking for your disc at this time.
right.
And,
yes.
and he's
Yes.
just clueless. He's
He's
the absent-minded
precious.
professor. And Chris is on his 3rd story, and we're just standing on the tee, and I'm like, just throw your disc.
It's
Wow,
very
you
true.
found it.
It's very true.
That's more than anything else. And I'm like, what are we doing? I'm just going to go play by myself. It's fine. And now that's what I do. Except Joe and I played today.
Nice.
Yeah, we've got one round in.
And we played quickly. Yeah, we played. All right. Okay, that was... Okay, so you have an internal response.
I'm sorry, it took you
It took
there.
me to a really dark place. But I think on a more relational level, Mary Lynn has said when she gets facts, logic, and reason, when she's looking for comfort.
And she did say, Marilyn did say, you can tell my washing machine story if you want.
So there
/
was a
me to."
time where something had happened, and big guy just maybe missed the mark.
Okay.
Everybody's got to have one fault,
We've all been there.
right? And so she went downstairs and she doing? And she's doing the laundry. And she's mad. And she's putting everything everywhere. And it occurs to her that big guy's upstairs watching his TV show, having the time of his life.
Doing what Big
Cup
Guy
of
does.
JMO, couple of ibuprofen.
Ibuprofen's just smoothing out the day away.
That's why he pumped into Maggie's head. She just needed to know he was
Easy
okay.
going. Easy.
She was wondering if his program was still on.
And if you think about it, you can get into almost like, for lack of a better term, and this isn't something I've defined, but I'm going to say it, like a trigger death spiral. Because you're now triggered.
Oh, yeah.
You're angry. The person that did it to you most likely
Doesn't
No
care,
idea.
has no idea.
Yeah, no idea.
And so then now they don't even care.
Yep.
Double
triggered.
or trigger squared. Hard to say.
Double triggered.
Double triggered. And then it just goes on from there, and then you do something, you flip out, and that's one of my points I get to that we can jump ahead to is you are now on tilt, especially if we have double triggered, because you're off on a race, nobody else is joining you on, and now you're out of your mind, and now what's the other person going to say? You're making too big of a deal out of this. Why are you being so irrational here?
Could you quit slamming the doors, please? You're interrupting
you
my
have
program.
got to get control of yourself.
Yeah.
Triple trigger.
Yeah.
And
To the point where I think the new term is crash out.
type. Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
Thank you. For sure. And from a Lunchtime in Rome perspective, you probably feel alone at this point in time.
I would imagine.
Quadruple trigger.
It being alone is, now you've been abandoned and all that stuff.
I'm going to keep going.
But what these are, these internal reactions, are a combination of things. And we've talked about this. One is, it is a reaction to the hurt. So whatever, that's the first thing that it is. Like, oh, you took away, like Brian, you were just going down this diagnostic. Carol changing lanes. Okay, well, that's security. To a degree, it's respect. You took those things from me. Okay, when people are playing slow, what emotional need is that?
Respect. They're
No,
not
for me,
respect-
it's security.
Really?
Because we're going to be slow. And now people are going to catch up behind me, and to a degree, respect. Because I have
Yeah.
to play quickly, and why are we taking so long? So the first thing that happens, it's a combination of the reaction to the hurt, which is an emotional need not met or taken from us. And that has its own realm of variance. It can be a lot, it can be a little, whatever else. But now the exponential factor is how much this reminds us, either consciously or subconsciously, of past hurts. So the example I like to use, Denny Chisnell, member of our church, a perfect example of wonderfully gifted and yet flawed. He was picked on a lot as a child. This may shock you. You'd think he was the quarterback of the football team and the cool guy on campus, but he was picked on. And then he would see other people get bullied, but he wasn't able inherently to do anything about it. And so anytime anybody, if there's like the bully, and then of course he goes into the engineering world in the steel industry, well, there's the higher ups who are like, make it happen. Well, he's an engineer. He's got to, there's variables that they're not even dealing with.
Right.
So if anybody cuts in line, if anybody bullies, if anybody cuts him off in traffic, he goes to 1 billion because that's not right.
Yeah.
It's a reminder of past hurts.
Yeah.
Those are the exponential factor to these external stimuli that the average outside person looking goes, not a big deal. So what? Plates dropped guy at Sorry Charlie's restaurant. Why are you covering your head on the ground? What a weirdo. That's what a 16-year-old jerk would say. When the reality is, oh, I don't know. He was in war.
Right.
Yeah.
And therefore watched who knows what happened. So his external stimuli is inflamed by his past hurts, which causes a whatever you want to call it,
Trigger.
if you will. I was going with an exponential reaction. Here's the strategic part of this whole lesson. We have no control over the external stimuli, but we do have control over the internal reaction.
Yeah.
Most people don't.
Yeah.
They're not even,
because most people don't even stop to consider it.
go on, please.
And I think, again, we've talked about it multiple times on the podcast, is I think the first step to, one of the first steps, if not the first step to a lot of the healing or a lot of the, getting better, is to understand it, to be in that moment and take that moment and go, wait a second, I reacted this way. Why? Number one, I noticed that I'm doing it. Now, why is that? So I think it's calling it out and just acknowledging that it's happening first and foremost.
So at the table, when you experience your triggers, air quote, what is your internal, how do you manage your internal response? Because back in the day, Mary Lynn was teaching, like, that was a lot of what she was teaching me to teach the kids I was working with. We called it social skills streaming. And, count backwards from 10, deep breathing, not killing the bunny rabbit in your house.
Don't punch the kid sitting behind you in the movie theater.
Right. But how do you go, like, what is your process when you are quote unquote triggered? Because we are aware, as per Brian's encouragement, we should be better at this. What's your process for dealing with a trigger?
Somebody go.
I'll
Okay,
go.
praise
Okay,
God.
I'll go. Okay. So
You
when I was
listen to
talking,
vinyl, put on a record.
Yeah.
it is a modern vinyl player though.
Yes.
So when I do catch myself in like the anxiety spiral that I do, not so much the changing lanes tunnel, whatever. I just kind of stop my thinking, and you have taught me this.
Oh.
I take it to the most realistic worst case scenario. So I rear-ended a guy on Bate Street a couple months ago.
Okay. Just want to make sure it wasn't recent.
No, you know about this. You know about this.
Yeah.
And afterwards, I'm like, oh no, what's gonna happen?
Sure.
Stop.
Jail. I'm going to jail.
Right.
Dead.
Stop.
Yeah.
It's what my car still running. Nothing's exploded. Airbags haven't gone off. I'm healthy.
Is that maybe why your front left tire is so jacked up?
Oh, that's definitely why.
We just got Joe an oil change, and we just bought him new tires 4 months ago.
Yeah.
No, not even. It was still winter. And there's threads showing, like,
That's why my
Eric the
car's
mechanic was like,
misaligned.
that's gonna blow. You got to go take care of that. I'm like,
bad
no way,
alignment.
no chance. No, we know. Keep going.
I'm anxiety spiraling. Stop where okay, worst case scenario. I have to pay a bunch of money to fix this guy's car for some reason. Like, that's the worst case scenario. All right, well, probably not going to get there. And I just kind of like work myself back in steps.
You
after
climb up the
whole-
doom spiral.
Yes. I've learned to stop my falling, and I just kind of climb up the ladder rungs. And then life goes on, and I'm okay.
Yeah.
Now my car's misaligned, and I have to fix that, but...
Yeah, we do need to take care of that.
No, yeah.
Did you guys share with me, or did I share with you the guy on Instagram, probably TikTok as well, that said if you're sick, you only have 2 things to worry about.
Yeah.
Are you going to get better? Or
It's
you're gonna get
brilliant.
worse?
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
It is
If you're going to
brilliant.
get better, you got nothing to worry about. If you're going to get sicker, well, now you only have 2 things to worry about. Is it going to get better, or is it going to get worse? Well, if it gets worse, blah, blah, blah.
You gotta live. You gotta die.
You die. If you're going to die, you only got 2 things to worry about. You're going to go to heaven, you're going to go to hell. You're going to go to
it's
heaven,
so
you got nothing
good.
to worry about.
You go to hell. 2 things.
2 things to worry about. That part wasn't funny, but
Yeah.
extra crispy or regular or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Marilyn pointed out positive self-talk is another thing that people use. So Joe basically says he facts, logics, and reasons himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done that. I think that when things get real heavy, not that it's been, but there was a time where Lex and I both had to do that. Like, we had to work backwards from, am I going to die? No. Are they going to take our kids from us? Probably not, but
Maybe they could for a couple weeks.
Yeah. You never know. But
Well,
no,
some
I mean,
of Ethan's non-sleeping nights,
Yeah.
that had to be some dark moments for you.
yeah, those are But it's funny though, because I actually did that exercise with Ethan about 2 weeks ago, because he's trying to get this kid over the finish line with school, and we're talking about some grades, and I don't.
You're doing actually the reverse. You're giving him the doom spiral.
Well,
everything will not be okay.
No, because in order to help him get over the finish line,
you had to reverse the doom.
yeah,
I
so-
did that to him on Saturday.
Good.
Reverse doomed or doomed?
I doomed him.
Well, he took you on did what Brian did.
Thanks, Joe. We make a good team. I think for me, it really, again, I think it starts with self-awareness. And I think for a long time, I've tried to be very self-aware of my actions. I'm not always good at that, but I do try to examine everything I'm doing and what's the motivation behind it. And then if I do get triggered, which happens rare, it's rare that it happens where, like, I've definitely worked on it, but I think a lot of it has been not maybe so much in that moment. It's been recognizing, wow, I'm very prone to anger overall, and I think over the course of this podcast, especially the last couple of years, there's been I'm very prone to anger. So let me wholesale work on the things that make me angry. And I think that has helped me to get triggered less and less and less, if that makes sense. So I think it's more of a wholesale thing for me.
Good. Eric, anything?
Yeah, mine would be more. We've talked about this in the past. And Brian kind of alluded to it. It was like seeking understanding of the situation. Like, why did the person do this to me? Or like, and we can simplify it using the kid in the movie theater. Like, it's a kid. And they're just moving their legs, and that's
was me.
I did that when I was a kid too, and just seeking understanding and just getting to a place like it's not their fault. They're hurt, and they probably they're going through stuff.
It's a great point. That's a great point.
Because I feel like a lot of the problems in the world would be not solved, but more understood.
Mediated at
Mediated
There'd be a lot
at
more
least,
grace.
If people sought understanding. Like, people grow up in all different kind of places, and, families are different, people are different, situations are different. And, I think it's something I always go back to, I feel like, is just seeking understanding of the other person.
Well, and you said it best right when I first met you. Everybody's on their journey. I mean, I heard it from you, and like that's always stuck with me. And I think that always helps me, not as much as possible. Hey, this person's on their journey. I got to give them some grace.
Well, and like, there's Christians have been such a poor example of seeking understanding, where like there'll be a new Christian, and then like this Christian like maybe says some swear words, or they sin again, like, and it's like, yeah, they're new to this,
That's
and
what we do.
and you still sin too, buddy.
Everybody
like,
does it.
So let's have some grace,
Yeah. To your point on everyone's on their journey, not to be Mr. Social Media guy, but I saw a meme the other day, and it was me. Everyone's on their journey, and we're all just in a different place. And then it was me 25 minutes later in traffic. Get out of the way, F-face.
Two things can be true.
Two things can be
It is not mutually exclusive.
Yes. For me, it's prayer. It's like, God, how do you feel about what's going on right now? And how do you feel for me right now?
I need to do that more.
Wow, you pray.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. And
We should have Jesus juke
for
by
as much
Jay.
as we talk about how to comfort others, I don't think I've taught that enough, which is, Jesus, when have you ever gone through something like this? And how do you feel for me right now? Because
He's
sometimes you're
never
all
gone
alone.
through traffic with people.
Tell you that
Never
much.
been in a movie theater.
You ever
getting
been on the way to Jericho? Place is just rife with traffic. But then the second, and the term I use is perspective. Is this going to matter in 10 minutes? Is this going to matter in 2 years?
Yeah.
And, so it's a combination of both. In the book, Switch On Your Brain, which is what I read last summer.
You read a book?
Almost the entire book. Dude, I've read and written a book. Thank you very much.
Did you? I didn't read it.
In your face.
I didn't read it.
Is really, it's a step-by-step process to go through these things and to deal with triggers per se. And what to summarize it, because it's obviously an entire book, the first thing is to be aware. And it's being aware right now. using your senses. God gave you these senses, you know. And so are my hands clenched up? You know, are my teeth clenched? Am I, you know, is there something, what is going on in my body? Is my
face
heart
red?
racing?
Yeah.
Am I sweating? All right, I need to be aware of that. But then also to be aware of your history. Okay, is this the kind of thing that normally bothers me? Is this something? Then have a look backwards to, okay, when I have felt like this before, what actually happened? You know, did it go to calamity? Oh, wait, I've doom spiraled 52 times, and 52 times I haven't experienced doom. Huh. You know, and it triggers our brain to think differently and then to attach a new thought to that. So given, okay, here's where I am. Well, here's the history of this. So that goes to, you only got two things to worry about. It's going to get better or worse. But then a new thought, which is, I'm going, and it's Marilyn has pointed out, positive self-talk. I don't have to let this do this to me. You know, I'm going to think positively about it. I'm going to have a different way moving forward. I'm going to understand them. I'm going to offer grace and mercy, or I'm going to understand that Chris just plays slow, and that's who he is, and he only disc golfs once every other month, so I might as well let him play for 4 hours for a round of disc golf.
And he's going to rock the sun hat when he does.
And he will, and that's probably the best part.
Every time.
But yeah, and so that's a lot of the facts, logic, and reason come in then once you've ebbed the tide of the trauma and the trigger and the emotional responding. And I think that's the nice systemic way to go through it. The book is more about like tragic flaws we have that we always screw up the same way. So this is the way to do it, to reverse that. But this, I think, works in isolation as well when we, quote unquote, get triggered.
Yeah,
that we
makes
can
sense.
redirect all of that. That's all I had. Should we trigger some more things in other people? What if we? Let's conclude just for 1 minute.
Yeah.
People smacking their lips when they.
Oh gosh, stop.
Shout out Jared Frank.
Oh, loud chewer.
When they chew,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's all. I just want to throw that in there.
what would be your triggers? We're asking you that sit around the table. Why don't you
Send them in.
send them in?
We never get post.
Yeah, we really don't.
Would love-
It would be great to have that.
Very rarely get a post on the, because I mean, we're a
dun,
podcast, so people just kind of listen to the podcast.
Oh, yeah. Triggers. And what do you do? What are your coping mechanisms? We will give $2 to everybody that responds.
I don't think we will.
If we get enough people that sit at the head of the table.
That'd be great.
If 20 people respond, we will give
What if 20
$1 to
people
everybody.
each get 2 people? And those 2
So
people
if
get
one
2 people.
person gets 3 people to respond, and then each of those people get 3 people to respond.
You mean like a pyramid scheme?
No.
nothing like
It's
nothing.
a triangle.
Well, no, it's almost like it's. Oh, okay.
Thank you, Michael Scott.
Multi-level commenting scheme. All right, that is it for episode 283. Join us next week for episode 284. Between now and then, please give us a like or follow on social media. Also, leave us a review and leave a comment. And visit us at lunchtimeinrome.com. Lunchtimeinrome.com. While there, take our relational needs questionnaire. Thanks for joining us at the table for Lunchtime in Rome. See you next week.
Arrivederci.
Rest in peace, George Pickens.
Bye.